Hey there, Dragon Folk. It's the messy bed edition of what sealed products should we be looking at for the future? And what does the market have to say about everything that has been going on up until Double Masters 2022? Welcome on in, guys. Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Wednesday. I'm hoping to get all of this done and edited hopefully by the end of the night so I can get this up to you. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. By the way, hi all 50 plus subscribers we've got now. I made that last video where we said at the end I was surprised we'd even get to 50 at the end of the month. And it's the 28th of June right now as of talking about this, and we are well surpassed 50 subscribers. So thank you all for being here. I want to give a big shout out to you guys first, because without all of you watching the channel and watching these videos, I would just be talking to myself. And frankly, I do enough of that already, so we don't need to worry about it. But today's topic, what we're going to talk about, right, is something that it's not really for much of the player. I like to have a financial discussions about Magic the Gathering and other TCGs on this channel, and it really does kind of come together, and it helps kind of figure out what you're going to be doing, right? For most of you who watch, or for those of you who are just now tuning in, I'm a collector, right? I like to collect these cards. And I like to play too, but I mainly play on Arena. I don't have a ton of time or, resources to go and buy cards and then go to an LGS or play on Spell Table and play in paper. So most of my stuff is done through collections. Most of what I do is collecting, but I do play. We do hope to have Arena content on the channel here pretty soon. So obviously, look forward to that. But what we're going to talk about is what sealed product we should be looking at here. So everybody kind of is realizing now what's happening with Double Masters 2022. We're trying to see and figure out what the actual prices of these singles are going to be. And although I don't believe they're going to be crazy high, I do believe that they're going to be pretty high, like, priced cards, because obviously they're cards people want. They're in fancy borderless versions of themselves. People want to upgrade their decks, and this is something that is going to be worth it. But unfortunately, a lot of the world is still like rotting from wallet fatigue, right? Wallet fatigue is a huge problem, especially when you are Wizards of the Coast and you are dropping 5 sets in the matter of 6 months, right? I mean, what? They came out with Kamigawa, Streets of New Capenna, Baldur's Gate, and Double Masters 2022, all within, well, I guess it's 7 months technically. And they're just throwing them out there, right? Most people don't have the ability to keep up. And yeah, luckily Commander Legends 2 is pretty cheap right now. But a lot of the LGSs are suffering in regards to their sales because of these things. Because everything just seems to have a negative impact on the market. And when it does have a negative impact on the market, the ones who locked in their prices at distributor prices and then couldn't sell them at distributor costs or weren't able to sell them at all, they lost money. And so it's hard to see, right? Obviously, we'll talk about like the red herring, or not the red herring. No, well, I'm red herring. It's probably the wrong terminology, but you'll understand what I'm saying. The outlier. Kamigawa, Neon Dynasty, right? Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the standard set, did fantastic, right? And we all know the reason why it did fantastic, right? Its power level was very good. The art was amazing, right? You got these, I mean, just the lands alone, right? You can do full art lands anywhere. But like these full art Yukio lands, amazing, right? But that's not the real reason it did really well. The real reason it did well is because they put a chase card in the collector boxes, right? They put a chase card in the collector boxes, and that is how they've been making it, right? That's how the consistent rise of that set has been going through and throughout its entirety of its life so far, right? So, for those of you who don't know, there are sets, earlier sets in Standard that are no longer in print. And it's just kind of wild to me. I've been looking at the prices of everything that's been like kind of before Kamigawa. Right, starting at like Zendikar Rising and then kind of moving forward, right? Zendikar Rising, and I believe that's right around Commander Legends was released too. Those two sets started at the beginning of 2021 or at the end of 2020. They did very well, right? Zendikar Rising, you have the expeditions. In every box, right? Draft, you get a chance at an expedition. Set, you get a chance at an expedition. Collector booster, you get 2 expeditions, and you can also pull them from the collector booster boxes, which is why those are doing real well. So I'll even show you how well they're doing. Okay, so hopefully you guys can all see this. Hopefully it's gonna all come up on screen. I certainly hope so. But this is what I'm talking about, right? Zendikar Rising collector booster boxes, right? Which are what most people are probably going to be getting. Strictly because, like I said, you get a chance at those fetch lands in every, the fetch land, or the expedition specifically. In every, you get 2 box toppers in every box, and you have a chance to pull foil expeditions from the actual packs. Foil expeditions go for a lot, and everybody needs land, so the expeditions are definitely something that is a big thing to do. I'm going to kind of keep a list of stuff that I believe, personally, people should be looking at in regards to boxes that they should keep sealed. So that's why this is mainly portrayed to collectors, more specifically sealed collectors, because at the end of the day, the sealed product is going to go up in price, right? We're not sure how quickly, but it will go up in price, right? We are all aware of the fact that it will go up in price. But what this is going to be doing is going to be giving you an idea, if you haven't been keeping an eye on these things, as to what you should probably look towards, maybe even get instead of Double Masters 2022. So, we all know Double Masters 2022 is a fantastic product. I guarantee if you get any of those boxes for the price, you're probably not going to be able to open them and then flip them and then, make your money back, unless for some reason the prices stay where they are right now. Specifically for the collector boxes. If the prices stay where they're at right now, you're not going to have an issue flipping. You're going to be able to make your money back in those 4 packs without a shadow of a doubt. And it will just be, it'll be free tendy. We'll be back to the terms of free tendies, like I said in my previous video. But a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people have wallet fatigue. And more importantly, we also need to see what the market will do with that, right? Keeping sealed product is the best way to invest in Magic the Gathering, period. It's the best way to invest in any TCG, period. And that's just my personal opinion. Obviously, I'm not some licensed advisor or whatever, but that's my personal opinion. Sealed will always get you something, right? But it's important to know what sealed you want to put all of your money into, or at least the money you're able to lose into, as opposed to just buying everything, right? Obviously we all have FOMO, and we all, we all want everything. And yeah, will I probably, you got to look at this, right? Zendikar Rising Collector Booster Box, right? $255. For a whopping like $50 more, I can buy and pre-order a collector booster box of Double Masters 2022. So if you're looking for sheer value, right, Double Masters 2022 might be the way to go to keep sealed. And the same deal goes for Zendikar Rising, right? Zendikar Rising still right under that $300, right? 250, 275 mark, but it is a powerful set, and it will be remembered as a powerful set, right? Not only is Zendikar Rising the very first set to have set boosters, mind you, right? Set boosters were not a thing until Zendikar Rising. So I'm assuming the Zendikar Rising set boosters will also be going for a lot. Again, you get a chance at an expedition in the box toppers in the set boosters as well. So set boosters, collector boosters, those are normally what we go after, right? You can get draft booster boxes too, because let's be honest, a draft booster box going for 80, probably 88, probably like 96 after tax, right? Let's look at this. Yeah. So about like $97, almost $100 a box. So at $100 a box, that's great, right? That's great, because most of them you can't even find a draft box for that much. But this also contains a box topper of an expedition. I pulled, if you didn't see on the previous video that we had, I think it's actually the first video I put up to the channel. I'm not sure if I recall. I'll put it up there somewhere. I pulled a Cavern of Souls from my draft booster box. Paid for the whole thing. Paid for the whole box. That one card paid for the whole box. And obviously, that was a luck of the draw, but, you know, we kind of work with what we work with, right? So you're looking at Zendikar Rising, and you're seeing, okay, cool, right? The set's one out of print. There's none of these are going to be made anymore, right? There's no more collector booster boxes being made, no more set booster boxes being made, no more draft booster boxes being made, no more bundles, no more gift bundles, no more any of it, right? This is it. There won't be any more product for Zendikar Rising, which is a reason really the expeditions and box toppers alone are a big reason why I suggest this is a great thing, because opening this later on down the line is not only going to be a fun experience, even if you just open a draft booster box. Not only is it going to be a fun experience, but you get those expeditions, and you have a piece of a good Magic set, right? Everybody adores this set, and you can even buy a display case or a booster box case of draft booster boxes for $600, right? $600, $100 a piece, right? You just keep that sucker sealed. I guarantee it inflates in value, because people like this set, right? Now, enough about Zendikar Rising. A big thing that I did want to talk about though first is that the collector booster boxes, when we get into, we'll wait until we get to like Innistrad, all right? So Zendikar Rising out the gate, right? They're already out of print. It's all done, taken care of. If you have the funds, you can buy like 4 of these draft booster boxes. You can buy, 3 to 4 of these set booster boxes. Buy a couple collector booster boxes. Those are going to be great products to start off your collection, because these will appreciate in value. So now on to the beginning of 2021, which was kind of a weird thing, because we have Kaldheim, right? You know what? Hold on. I didn't want to lose. So with Kaldheim, what we did here, right, is as you can see, Kaldheim only came out just a few months after Zendikar Rising, right? And just the end of the year, or the beginning of the year, right? Snow set, very specific in its snow set. And it came out with a whole same deal, right? Set booster boxes, draft booster boxes, collector booster boxes. But you'll see, look, $159.49 for their collector booster boxes, where Zendikar Rising is $100 more. Now, you got to think to yourself, why, right? Why is that the case? And the reason being is because the people just didn't like the set, right? People liked Zendikar Rising more than they liked Kaldheim. And a lot more product was brought out, everybody was, I think Wizards was expecting Kaldheim to actually be like the most popular set to be released. And they sold, there were so many of them made and so many of them sold. Again, right? Everybody thought the power level wasn't too great and so on and so forth, but yet here we are, right? I mean, these cards here, a Goldspan extended art, this is what? I mean, granted, these are only single card ideas, but $50 almost for a foil, right? Yeah, for a near mint foil, like almost $50, right? For an extended art Goldspan Dragon. Now, Goldspan Dragon is accessible in the standard decks, the challenger decks that are out now. So I don't know whether or not that's actually like, this is definitely gone down in price. But there's also things in here much like Commander, or not much like Commander Legend, like Zendikar Rising as far as chase stuff goes, right? Zendikar Rising had the expeditions. That was their chase, right? Kaldheim, on the other hand, had one thing that most people didn't know about that was actually the only chase card in the entirety of the set, which was a foil or a non-foil Vorinclex in Phyrexian text. So it looks like the lowest cost one is $108.38. Obviously, you see in all these other sets that Phyrexian text cards are a norm now, obviously alluding to something in the future for future sets, but this is the chase card, and you can only get it in the collector boxes. So, what does that mean for Kaldheim, right? Why did Kaldheim do so bad? It was just off the back of some awful PR, right? I mean, you got all these borderless cards, you got all this other, like, it's just snow stuff. The pathways are just the opposite pathways from Zendikar Rising. People really didn't like a whole lot of the flavor. The cards were all snow-based, and there wasn't, like, having a snow set has been something that has also been pretty specific to things, right? I think there were snowlands that came out in Modern Horizons, the first one, and then the only other snowlands I believe we've seen have been in Ice Age and Cold Snap. And I think that's it, right? So snowlands are a commodity to get snowlands. Not to mention the fact that the set just did real well. You had gods, right? There's a bunch of cards in here that were really powerful. But look at this. Same deal. $100 for a draft booster box. And not even $200 for a collector booster box. In the sense where you could pull some pretty great stuff from it. And these will just appreciate, right? Because at the end of the day, with these prices being as low as they are, something needs to happen. They need to be bought, right? They need to be bought. Because if you can buy a collector booster case for $1,000, then you can sit on that, and I guarantee it will go up in price as the time go on. A lot of what we deal with as people is we have a bad taste in our mouth until we get a taste of something good, and then we forget, right? And then time goes on, and as time goes on, people go, oh, I wonder what happened to that one set, and then boom, right? You have all this product. And there's a lot of product that was brought out for this. But that doesn't mean that it isn't a good product. After this, we also look at the next set, right? So we have an up, all right? Positive vibes, expeditions, lands, the whole thing. A down, not a lot of PR. Not a lot of people really liked it, apparently. Stores were selling it at an okay rate, but not a crazy amount. Also out of print, by the way, Kaldheim. But then we have Strixhaven, right? Strixhaven, this is another one of those special sets, right? And when I mean special set, I mean it's just another standard set that has some extra goodies in it. So Strixhaven, the whole thing behind this is that there are special cards in here called the Mystical Archives, right? The Mystical Archives, when this set came out, there was a lot of hate about the Mystical Archives. And the reason is because like 75% of the Mystical Archives cards, maybe even 80% of the Mystical Archives cards, were under $1. And that's because in every single one of these packs, whether it be draft, set, or collector, you were guaranteed a Mystical Archive card. Now, there were also two different variants. You had the English Mystical Archive, and you had the Japanese Mystical Archive. So here is your English Mystical Archive. Stuff like this is probably one of the more expensive Mystical Archive cards, being Demonic Tutor, in the entirety of the Mystical Archive. So obviously, pulling this is pretty crazy. Pulling it in foil is a little bit more expensive, roughly about $70 per card. But the Japanese foil, well, the Japanese foil is a completely different thing. Obviously, all in Japanese, so the card is, is not readable unless you know what Demonic Tutor does. You know this is Demonic Tutor, and it is, is legal. You can have this. $114.99 for a near mint, but foil, $300 for something like this. And now I know it's kind of not worth it doesn't make any sense to specifically go over the most expensive card, but what I wanted to bring home is that Strixhaven, while its set also included a bunch of Elder Dragons that everybody wanted, it added a bunch of new stuff for the same guilds, such as Izzet, Simic, Orzhov, Boros, right? All of these, they got extra stuff under new names of their schools, right? But the set tanked pretty significantly in the beginning, but is now going back in price. You'll see the exact same thing here, right? $101 some for the set boxes, about 80, probably $90. Yeah, about $100 for the draft booster boxes. And then you also have the collector booster boxes at $215 a piece, right? This is where you got most of your Japanese Mystical Archive cards, and a lot of them in the beginning are very like, okay, they're the uncommon common ones that go for a couple cents, but the odds of you pulling a pretty nasty mythic or rare in its Japanese alternate art is actually really good. And so the fact that these are going for $250, really like $230 after everything is said and done, $230 is really good. It's less than a Double Masters 2022. It'll appreciate the same. It's got Mystical Archive cards in there that people will want at some point. Collecting down the road, people will want the Mystical Archive cards. I know I'm still collecting my fair share of them, so people will want them. And I think that's genuinely why this is another one of these sleeper sets. Again, Strixhaven as well, out of print. So none of these things will be made ever again, and the fact that they're as low as they are, it is a good time to pick them up, especially if you can get a good deal on them. If your LGS is selling any of these, Zendikar Rising, Kaldheim, or Strixhaven, for a cheaper price, I definitely suggest picking them up, whether it be a draft, a set box, or a collector booster. Those are going to appreciate very well in value over time. This is essentially like a smaller little bubble, right? But then everything seemed to change when this happened. Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. I've talked about this on some of my other videos. Adventures in the Forgotten Realms is a set that a lot of people just didn't find powerful, right? They didn't find that it was a very powerful set. They didn't like the power level. They didn't like the fact that it replaced a core set, where core sets usually reprint a lot of the very strong cards that are used throughout the meta and help kind of alleviate some of that stuff. And instead of putting new cards, or instead of putting old cards, rotating them back into the meta, they instead added a bunch of new cards with new flavor and new abilities to supplement that. Now, this being the very first core set to be replaced by just another different standard set, it's a historical moment. And I do truly think that Adventures in the Forgotten Realms is going to go down as history as either the beginning of the end, or it's going to be another one of those sets that people are going to go, wow, I really like the flavor of it. I wish I could have boxes from that set, right? And look, same deal, right? You'll see this is a year. This is all within a year, right? Adventures of the Forgotten Realms, $85, right? For a draft boost. It's probably not 85. It's probably it's like 90, like almost $100, right? Same deal with the set booster boxes and the collector booster boxes, which I just opened on that last channel, or on my last video, one of my last videos. 140. This is like one of the cheaper collector boxes. $148. Out of this world. Less than the other four, right? Less than this. Less than this. Adventures of the Forgotten Realms is the lowest right now. And it's simply because people think that you're not going to get a good thing, right? But look at Old Gnawbone. Tiamat, all of these dungeon module cards, all of them. All these dungeon module cards are going to be a big thing. You have the Planeswalkers. Loth was one of the strongest Planeswalkers to see play in Standard in a long time. So Loth was fantastic. You got good sets, good cards in here. I think people just didn't work well with the meta at the time. So a lot of people did not end up actually sticking with it, right? People didn't go, okay, this is what exactly, I need these cards, right? So of course, people are thinking, well, this is it, right? Like Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, again, out of print. Another set that's out of print. This is the last set of the last standard, when the standard rotation happens in September. This is the final set that will be that is going to be kicked out, right? Zendikar Rising, Kaldheim, Strixhaven, and Adventures of the Forgotten Realms all will be kicked out of standard, and we'll start with Innistrad Midnight Hunt. So, as far as standard goes, which nobody plays, obviously nobody plays, but these cards are all used in Pioneer, they're all used in Modern, they're all used in Commander, they're all used in Vintage, they're all used in Legacy. There's a place for these cards somewhere, and that's where it makes the most sense. But the fact that they're all kind of the same price is blowing me away, right? The fact that I can get this for under $300 blows my mind. I think this right now should be $300 considering it's out of print, and it hasn't moved since the day it came out, as far as I know, right? Strixhaven, what is this? Its market it was down in April. Let's just check over a year, right? Yeah, look at this. So, bam, shot all the way down, 210, 200, back up, back down, back up, and now it's kind of easing its way back down again. These things just occur, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down, but eventually, now that the set is out of print and there won't be any more, that means there's no more mystical archives. So unless, of course, there were so many of these collector booster boxes opened, sent out, you've got all the different mystical archive cards already flooding the market, you're going to see a good amount of collectors want to go for this. It was a fun set. It had the Elder Dragons in it, Beladros Witherbloom. It's got the borderless versions of it, Professor Onyx, another fantastic Planeswalker, Magma Opus. Somebody just used that thing to win a tournament, I believe. So Strixhaven's very, very good. Adventures of the Forgotten Realms, also another fantastic set. I guess you can just say I'm genuinely optimistic about how all these sets are, right? But more importantly, you have to look at the prices, right? As we go further and further into 2022, you will notice the box prices will go higher and higher, right? Because Wizards is increasing their box price, which means the distributors need to increase their box price, which means your LGS needs to increase its box price, which makes these the perfect option for you if you have wallet fatigue, which most of us do. Most of us can't even afford to buy a box, right? But buying a box of Adventures of the Forgotten Realms and sitting on it, I'm almost certain you'll do great. Get a decent position. Just buy a case. right? Even just one case is enough to have a pretty solid position on this, just to start, right? And then work your way on from there. So now we're on to sets that are in print, right? So obviously, after Adventures in the Forgotten Realms happened, we had Innistrad Midnight Hunt, right? Actually, I believe right in between here, I think we got, yeah, Adventures of the Forgotten Realm happened, and then Modern Horizons 2 happened. Obviously, if you can find Modern Horizons 2 for cheap, you should definitely keep that. Modern Horizons 2 is a fantastic set. Obviously, it's a much like Double Masters 2022 in that it's a premium set that will be worth something in the future, guaranteed. So obviously, Modern Horizons 2, I excluded that from this list because I didn't really like. Obviously, it's a lot more pricey, and that's just because it is well sought after. But Modern Horizons 2 is not out of print yet, I don't believe. So, but it's due to be, I think, sometime soon. Not sure. But Innistrad Midnight Hunt, right? The new set to come out in October of last year. This set also sucked to many people, right? Again, power level garbage. All of it, it was supposed to be about werewolves. It turned out to be about zombies, and spirits. There was no real big deal about werewolves other than your very first werewolf commander, which of course aided things along. But if you really want to think about it, Morpheon, I think that's the name of the card, is of course a werewolf commander. So you can figure that out. But the set didn't do too great, right? People liked the lands and then people didn't like the lands. People liked the land cycle from this set. Very good. But of course, not a ton of people really enjoyed this set coming out. And I think it's just like a general, there's a consistent amount of negativity that goes on as the days go on. I mean, the world that we live in right now is insane. And so there's already so much pushing down that it's only continuously gets worse. And once we find a spark of something to hold on to, it ends up being too expensive and we can't even buy it. I shouldn't say we. The regular Magic player probably couldn't buy it. So we look at things like this, right? Again, this looks almost exactly like Kaldheim, right? $159 a box, $156 a box. You've got $94 draft, $91 set, $94 draft. And then the $83 draft. This is actually an accurate number. Draft boxes of Midnight Hunt are going for less than $90 right now. Less than $90. MSRP, they're like $100. This is like distributor pricing for these things. So why wouldn't you get this, right? You get a fantastic Innistrad set. It's the beginning of the new standard, and it's gonna appreciate it. It's literally on sale. Like, that's what I'm saying, that it's on sale. And when sealed product is on sale, you have to pick it up. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a set you don't care about. It doesn't matter whether or not it's a set that somebody else didn't care about. You need to pick it up because it is important for you to get that, right? $156 for a collector booster box, right? Again, there's a lot of nice things you can get out of here. Foil, Renin 6, Arlen, all of the land cycles in Borderless. Let's not even talk Borderless foil, right? Poppet Stitchers, these things will go for something. Are they not? Are they the best pulls, and will you guarantee to get your money back? At $156, you can get pretty damn close. I'm certain you can get pretty damn close if you're trying to get free tendies. But the important part is that you're buying them at $156, and you can just hold them, right? You can hold them and not have to worry about it. Crimson Vow, the set everybody hated, the set right before Kamigawa. Again, another dumpster fire, right? We're already off the back of Adventures of Forgotten Realms. Then we had Midnight Hunt. Both of those were like, people didn't like them. And then Crimson Vow happened. And everybody's like, wow, this also sucks. The box toppers aren't fun. You know, none of this is a good product. The cards it's the same stuff. Again, this is a set that was supposed to focus on vampires, and it kind of just focused more on spirits and on zombies instead of anything else. And that was a big problem for a lot of people. The only big thing out of this entire set was the Sorin the Mirthless for Showcase, which back when this first came out was what? Like $200? And now it's $83, right? This was what? A year, right? This was sitting at a maximum of $203 at one point for this in foil. And now look where it's gone, right? Look what's happened. People forgot about it because it was a card that it's a good Planeswalker, but and it's the more important thing, it's by an artist that is well known for their work, and they're very, it was a well sought after card. But look at the prices of the sealed product. $155 for a collector box. $78, less than $80 for a draft box. Less than $80 non-shipped for a draft box. You don't get sales like this. You can buy 4 draft boxes almost for the same price as you could. You can buy 6 Crimson Vow draft boxes for the price of almost 1 Double Masters 2022 draft box. So you get more for your money. And as much as everybody didn't like this set, time heals all wounds. And it will continue to do that. I'm really, really going through this video a lot. But time will heal all wounds. And you will see, much like everything else, set booster boxes in every single one of these are holding. Right? I like set booster boxes. Personally, I would invest in those instead of draft. But when you see something that low and you plan to keep sealed, why wouldn't you buy that? Right? Why wouldn't you buy that? Everybody thinks this asset is toxic. But at the end of the day, if you are sitting at home and you're a collector, this asset isn't toxic to you. You do not have the goal in mind to buy this product and then sell it immediately. You know what I mean? You don't. We're gonna get off this screen because everybody's now looking at Crimson Vow and they're gonna throw up. When you see product that low, especially from 4 sets that are out of print, and they're that low, and there's still product. There's still product out there in the world being sold. And you want to make a position for yourself, right? Time will heal all wounds that occur. And I guarantee that over time, you will have a good position in sealed product with this stuff. If you really wanted to, you could go buy Return to Ravnica for $120 a box, but you got to think about that. You're buying Return to Ravnica at $120 a box. People were selling it for $70 10 years ago. So it's appreciated in value, right? So why wouldn't this, right? Everybody just gets so hopped up on their emotions that they don't think about the future, right? And thinking about the future is the biggest thing out of this entire investing game. Is you have to think about the future. Box prices this low, you have no reason but to not pick them up, right? I mean, you're practically buying draft boxes at distributor pricing. And you might not have the opportunity to have things at a distributor price, right? So that's kind of the big thing here, right? If you're trying to build a position, it's great to look after the new shiny thing. And obviously you can speculate and you can see that, out of the 2 to 3 Double Masters openings that are open right now, you can see what the value looks like for everything, right? Will that product also appreciate in value over time? Absolutely, if it keeps itself sealed. The textured foils also will probably be pretty heavy in price. But everybody's got their own price, but at the end of the day, sealed product is going to be the best way for you to invest in Magic, and it is going to be probably the easiest right now. Because unless you want to start putting your money into assets that are like Guilds of Ravnica or Ravnica Allegiance, War of the Spark, Rivals of Ixalan, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation, maybe not Hour of Devastation, Amonkhet, Kaladesh, Aether Revolt even, like, there are other sets available, and you can choose to do them. Those sets are easier to invest into because there aren't a set box or a collector box. But the thing with collector boxes, something I guess I don't remember if I went over in the set, but my final thoughts and final thing here for investing purposes. And granted, this has just been a lot of rambling, so I do apologize for the amount of times I've just kind of gone off tangent. But you're dealing with a crazy person here who likes to collect cardboard and shove it in his closet and hope for the best. Collector booster boxes, while they contain the highest form of card variant in them, most of them contain cards that are unobtainable in the other two boxes. But the most important part is that they're limited to print. Innistrad Midnight Hunt is still printing draft and set booster boxes. But you know what they're not printing anymore? Collector booster boxes. So, if everybody and their mother is opening Crimson Vow collector booster boxes, then that means that the price of those collector booster boxes will go up, because that is product that is limited. And we all know what limited product is like, right? We all know that's where the tendies are, is in limited product. And so for people to miss on this, on 2 collector booster boxes for the price of 1 that has 4 packs in it, I mean, you do what you want with your money, right? But at the end of the day, I would rather have more than less. Quantity over quality at the end of the day. Because even if Double Masters 2022 rises to the top and that 4-pack collector booster box becomes $500-$600 in the next couple of months, I know that I'd still be sitting on it, right? I'm still not sure about Double Masters 2022. I'm going to have to wait 30 to 90 days before making any kind of commitment to something like that. I don't think I'd ever buy the draft booster boxes. I'm just not going to do it ever. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm not going to buy the draft boxes. The collector boxes, which are of a limited supply, those are what I'd put my money into, because it just makes the most sense. It just makes the most sense to do that. But like I said, I've ranted for long enough, and this is just kind of a way for me to look over the past 2 years, right, and kind of look over stuff and see where we're at. We're not even into Dominaria United yet. Commander Legends 2 boxes are even going for $90, right? Not the collector boosters, but like the draft and the set boosters, like $90, right? And yeah, everybody's like, oh, it sucks, like blah blah blah, but like everybody thinks a set sucks if you can't get the amount that the box is worth in the box, right? When the EV doesn't match the sealed product price, that's when people think that a product sucks. But at the end of the day, product is product. And at some point, 20 years down the line from now, people are going to go, whoa, is that a Crimson Vow draft booster box? Like, oh my gosh, I heard that set was awful. Like, oh no, it actually is pretty good. There's a couple cards in here that did real good in like a Pioneer tournament. 5 years ago, and now the entirety of the set, it's just like vampires have just ramped up in tribal, and now everybody's playing vampires, and Crimson Vow is through the roof, and you paid $80 a box for your draft boxes. You know what I mean? There's multiple skepticisms and different opportunities available for everybody. But at the end of the day, we all follow our own path, and we all figure out what we want to do with our own. You could also use any of the money that you are putting into sealed product, into reserved list stuff. But we'll talk about that in a different video. So anyway, that's just my rant. That's just what I'm seeing, right? The fact that over 2 years, 4 sets that have not been in print for a long time, or not for a long time, that are out of print now, are still roughing the same prices as the prices of current product now, is kind of insane. Obviously, Kamigawa was a huge hit, but only the collector boxes. Streets of New Capenna was supposed to be really good, but we were already so wallet fatigue. Wallet fatigue is the key word here. If you've made it to the end of this video, wallet fatigue. That's word that into a sentence down at the bottom. But that's what I'm talking about, is that there's history to be had with all of these packs, all these boxes, and anything can happen. And right now, with the sealed market being so incredibly low, if you're a sealed investor, now is the time to move in, right? If you move in, buy a case, right? Even if it's just one and you're skeptical about it, right? Even if it's just a case, you're still building yourself a position, something to work with. And that's important. It's an important step in investing in sealed. So this video is almost an hour long. Like I said, I don't think anybody's ever seen, is going to make it to the end of this. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought. What are you guys' thoughts about sealed investing right now? Do you still feel like it's more important to save your money and go buy sealed product from previous years, such as like Ixalan and Amonkhet and Kaladesh? Or do you think it is important to take advantage of the complete and utter dumpster fire that is the sealed product today, and realize that it's going to go up in price no matter what in 5 to 10 years? So let me know in the comments. While you're down there, make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel as well if you have not already. Like I said, we're inching closer and closer to 100. I might do a pretty big giveaway to people at about 100 subscribers, so we'll see what exactly happens. But until then, I just want to thank you all for being here, and please make it a great day or not. The choice is all up to you. And I will see you all in the next video with my dumb face. All right, guys. Nerd out.